Welcome, everyone, to this first official inaugural episode of the DieCast podcast. My name is Pablo, and like many of you watching today, I've had a lifelong relationship with DieCast cars. As far back as I can remember, I recall going to the different grocery stores with my parents as a young kid, and as they're out there shopping for the weekly food, going down that obscure little toy aisle and just gawking in awe at those pretty little shiny metal cars and the little plastic bubbles on that cardboard stock card hanging from the pegs, and picking one up and sheepishly taking it to mom or dad and practically begging for them to let me have one of those. Now, I didn't come from much, so it wasn't very often that they would say yes, but on the rare occasion that they would look at me and say maybe felt sorry for me after so many turn downs that they'd finally give in, it felt so special. I couldn't wait to get home, or even in the car, cracking that car open and holding it in my hands and just playing around with it, just feeling it and getting excited. And of course, I'd take it home with my other little cars and have little races around the living room, build little tracks. Well, back in those days, I never even owned a set of proper Hot Wheel tracks. I would just build my track out of Legos, a perimeter, and have them, rolling over the floor, racing each other. But good memories as a kid. And as we grow up, we carry those warm memories with us, and there's this whole aura of nostalgia that stays within us, and you start working and you start making your own money and you're able to buy your own things, indulge a couple of your little guilty pleasures, if you will, and you start buying and building up a diecast collection. And I've been doing that for the last decade or so. And of course, always starting back with mainline Hot Wheels. And even 10 years ago, I remember at Kmart, it's a now defunct chain of stores, much like Target and Walmart are today. Back in the day, Kmart was king, and they had a really close relationship with Mattel. So they would have things called K-Days, where you would go there early in the morning and they would bring out the fresh boxes, the fresh cases of Hot Wheels, and everybody that was there would be able to open a box and sift through it and pick out the pieces that they wanted. And it was really exciting because you had a chance of getting your hands on, back then, a treasure hunt. It wasn't really a super treasure hunt. It was a treasure hunt with the little flame, remember those? Or the TH tampo on there. And of course, you can pick out even mainline cars out of those cases, the ones that you wanted, to continue growing your collection. And then you'd be able to trade with other fellow Hot Wheels collectors that were there if they picked out pieces from their case. And it was really fun. There was a real community feeling about that. Unfortunately, around 5 years ago, during the times of the 2020 situation, a lot of people came into this hobby, into this community, and saw an opportunity. And I don't blame them. We are in a capitalist society. Everybody has to get theirs any which way that they can. But then you had people who had never had any interest in diecast collecting take advantage of supply and demand, right place, right time, make the right connections. And suddenly it became more difficult to go out there and find the castings that you wanted in the wild. You would go and show up and the pegs would be cleared. You'd find the same peg warmers, all the fantasy cars, the castings that nobody really cared for. And, you can just say, you could chalk it up to somebody beat me to the punch, early bird gets the worm, bad luck. But the more you start peeling back the layers of that onion, the more you realize that there may be something a little bit more sinister at foot. And I think that's what's going on now. I know for a fact, I have proof. I've run into situations like this myself. They're not third-hand accounts, but I've seen this with my own eyes. I've lived it. I know that there are people who work at Target, Walmart, Vaughn's, Ralph's, wherever you might be able to find Hot Wheels, Matchbox as well now. And these people, these employees, they have free access to these cases. So when they bring them out into the aisle to hang them up on pegs, it is indeed rare when you're getting a legitimately new case and where actual good castings, let alone treasure hunts, super treasure hunts, will actually make it onto a peg. Those cars have been long picked through and picked out, set aside by employees who then have these little deals. They've built up their little networks of resellers who will, scratch them off a little money or break off a percentage. Or in many cases, even there's documented cases where employees have been caught, they've been fired because, you know, they've been taking these cars home with them and reselling them on the side. And can you really blame them? Working at Walmart or Target, how much could they possibly be earning an hour? I don't think it's a living wage, but at the same time, it's sort of really watered down the hobby. And again, people are no longer getting their hands, real diecast collectors. It's becoming more difficult for them to source the castings that they want to complete their sets. You have to find them on the secondary market. And of course, Mattel has also seen the opportunity to exploit the hobby. They come out with their RLCs, with Overdrive, and every year it seems the price of the RLCs gets higher and higher. And again, it's capitalism. If there's a demand for it and you limit the supply, the higher prices you can command for it. So I understand all of that. But that being said, at the same time, if the quality doesn't justify the price, I don't think we should continue supporting that when there are so many other options now. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Again, my personal experience collecting Hot Wheels. I love Hondas. This is a main line that I just did a wheel swap on, and I think it looks great. You see these little mini wheels? These are official Mattel wheels. Real riders. They have sets that you can buy from the Mattel website. And I think it looks pretty cool. You customize your car. Not really customize, you just do a wheel swap, but you can achieve a really nice result. And then I rubbed off the tampos that are on this side. They were on the other side as well. You rub them off with like a highlighter or any other alcohol-based marker. And you've got your main lines as well. There's some main lines that are cast really, really well. They have good detail. For a Hot Wheels car, check out this bad boy, this little Civic. I think it's a great casting for a main line. I can't complain about the details. For the price, this is right. $1.25. You can't complain about this. Here's another one for you. Pretty well done, little CRX. Look at the front details on this car. Not bad. I'll take that. Nice little livery on the side. If I really wanted to, I can get creative and color in those rear tail lights and maybe do a little license plate decal. But yeah, there's some good castings out there still. But these cars are hard to find in the wild, at least here in Southern California. I suppose, the density of the population has something to do with it as well. If you're in small town America, it might be that you're lucky and you get to your stores and you can still have a decent chance of finding desirable castings hanging on pegs. But here in the greater LA area, good luck. Good luck. And of course, you have your Hot Wheels premiums, like this NSX here. Not my favorite rendition of this car because it's all blacked out. I mean, the windows are all super blacked out. It sort of blends in with the roof. It's like all one big piece. But still, I'm a Honda guy. I'm not going to complain. I'll get as many of the Honda castings that I can get my hands on. And even some RLC pieces like the Ryu Osada NSX. As you can see, there's a little bit more thought that went into this. But still, at the end of the day, it feels very much like a toy. I'm not going to lie. Better detail, of course. They did what they could. But when you start looking closely, you start seeing some of the components for the lighting there, they're pretty visible. So it feels a little sloppy. I like the intention. I like that they're innovating, but still, I think that there are better options out there. You get more bang for your buck from something like a Johnny Lightning casting, metal body, metal base. Check this guy out and look at the details on the tampos. Rubber tires as well, look. Branded tires. full details on the back. It's a great little casting. And this car is what, $4.95, $5? Now, the one complaint that you'll hear about Johnny Lightnings, let me set these other castings aside for now, is that they don't roll really well. You know, their alignment on their wheels isn't quite right. I mean, these are rubber tires, but still, here's rubber tires on this premium. Very smooth roll, right? Here's this Johnny Lightning. Kind of choppy. But you're not really out there racing these cars, are you? I mean, if that's what you do, cool. You should just be using main lines for that anyway. But this is a cool looking car on display. Again, the details are amazing for $5. I would say this is as detailed, if not better detailed, than a $30, $40 RLC car. But again, you know, it's the marketing machine, the hype behind, oh, it's an RLC car. You know, there's a limited supply. People get their hands on them with multiple accounts, keep one for themselves, and sell the other 4 or 5, sometimes even more, for 2 or 3 times what they paid for. But again, it's really not their fault. Can you blame them? If there's a market out there, they're just exploiting it. But I encourage you, fellow diecast collectors, to look into other brands. Here's another Johnny Lightning car. Check this guy out. This is an Accord. Beautiful casting. The Advan livery. Sorry, this is a Civic. Yeah, with the Advan livery. Look at this. Absolutely stunning piece. And you can get these for around $5, $6, $7. Great looking car. Pretty nice little wheels. There's nothing wrong with this car. This is better, in my opinion, than a Hot Wheels premium car. At the same price level, more detail. But again, this one rolls a little bit better, but still, it's not a smooth roller. No, it doesn't roll well at all. But that's the drawback of Johnny Lightning. One day they'll get it right, hopefully. But for display purposes, these cars are beautiful. They're stunning. Here's a Civic. Little hatchback. Look at the detail on that. Even it's got a license plate on it. Good paint. Very vividly detailed. Again, rubber tires, metal base. Good car. Rolls a little bit better. Now, let's talk about other brands out there that are getting their due time in the spotlight. Brands like Mini GT. And look at these Civics. Different level of detail. Slightly higher price point. Anywhere between 15 and 20 bucks. But if you're a serious diecast collector, why wouldn't you get these cars? Look at the detail on that. These are true to scale 164. Hot Wheels say they're 164, but the majority of them are slightly, what's the word? Have a little bit more huskiness to them. But these Mini GT cars, their scale integrity is pretty good. And you can see the details. Rubber tires. The wheels on a lot of Mini GTs, they leave a lot to be desired, the actual rims. But if you're displaying this car, you put that up against a Hot Wheels casting, you know, there's really no comparison. Here's a premium compared to a Mini GT. You can see what I'm talking about. Is it going to roll like a Hot Wheels? No. It rolls good enough, well enough, but here's the same car in a different livery. Look at this aggressive looking Civic Type R regalia. Check out the back. Look at that fin. Look at the diffuser, body kit. Great looking car, great looking car. But again, the wheels, they do leave something to be desired. You can see not the greatest detail there. Seems like they got a little sloppy towards the end right there. Final details. I don't know if it's a cute quality control issue, but let me adjust the lighting so you can see what I'm talking about. But still a great car if you have it on display in a diorama, in a nice acrylic display. These things really pop. Now, what about other brands? This is a Pop Race Pandem Civic. There's a little controversy behind this car because you can see it doesn't have any Honda emblems on it. It's a beautiful casting, absolutely stunning. A true JDM. Like the passenger side seat has, there is no seat on the passenger side. There's a NOS tank in there. you can see it, it's red. Very, really, really well done casting. Beautiful detail. With this car, which is a little bit of a curiosity, here's the box that it came in. Pop Race. Usually they would say Honda Pandem or Honda Civic. Here it just says Panda Civic EG6. No official licensing information on the back. Really strange, right? Why is it missing? But then again, they do have a license, because if you look at this NSX, what do you see here? There it is. There's a Honda emblem. It's an officially licensed product. So, also by Pop Race, and look at the detail on this car. Check that out. That's next level right there. Beautiful NSX. Absolutely stunning chrome pink paint job, or wrap job if you will. And just look at the tampos. You can look at this car for hours and just admire it. And look at the detail on the wheels. Next level stuff. Metal base, of course. So what I'm trying to show you guys is that for the price of an RLC, which is at least 25, 30, 40 bucks now, you can get yourself in that price range, even less, for around $20. You can get your hands on one of these guys. Why wouldn't you? As a diecast collector, if you collect Hondas, if you collect Ferraris, if you collect any trucks, anything, Nissans, there are many options out there that are, for my 2 cents, much better than what Mattel has to offer. But again, people get caught up in the hype. Look at the Honda emblem right there. Yep. Beautiful car. And of course, this conversation would not be complete without giving Kaido House, Jun and Mai, his due. What can you say about this car here? What can we say about this casting right there? Let me pop open this hood so you can observe the detail in the engine. That's next level stuff right there. And these Kaido House cars, what, 20, 25 bucks? So less than the price of an RLC car. And you can't compare the two, really. There's just no comparison, in my opinion. These have surpassed Hot Wheels, anything that Mattel can put out there. And yes, they're getting their just recognition now. You know, more and more people are discovering them, getting their hands on them, and really starting to build their own Kaido House Mini GT collection. And I applaud you for that, for, you know, not going with the hype, for trying out something new and discovering on your own that there are better options out there. So I hope you enjoyed this little conversation, this discussion. I don't mean to offend anybody. If you collect Hot Wheels, hey, at the end of the day, this is what collecting is all about. You collect what you like, right? What appeals to you, what speaks to you. Don't collect things for the validation of other people. Do what feels right for you. But myself, being a diecast collector, I can tell you I started my journey with Hot Wheels. They're still great. I still love them. But I'm not caught up in the hype anymore. You know, if I don't get the latest RLC release because other people snatched them up, if I don't get the super treasure hunt that I wanted, if I don't get the casting that I wanted out there at Target, it's not going to make me feel bad anymore, because there are other options that I can get my hands on and enjoy just as much, if not more. And that's what this video is all about, just to let you guys know to keep your mind open to other options. Don't be dismayed if you don't get your hands on the latest Hot Wheel, the latest Matchbox, and the latest Mattel release, because there are so many other options. And you know what? Try them out. Play around with other manufacturers. See for yourself what it's all about. You will not be disappointed. Your diecast collection will continue to grow. You'll have more variety. And I think you'll start falling in love with these other pieces, because what's not to love about this? Absolutely beautiful cars at a competitive price point. Now, yes, there are more expensive, even costlier options out there. If your pocket allows for that, then you can certainly start getting into them. Things like limited releases at Pop Race and other tarmac works, you know, NO64. You'll start seeing other cars that are more exclusive, and of course, exclusivity is limited run. It's just a fancy way of saying it's going to cost you more. Like this, Bosuzuko from Pop Race, collaboration with Bape, the Japanese lifestyle fashion brand. It's a beautiful car, a beautiful casting. I have nothing bad to say about that car. Unique, really, really stunning piece for my collection. But yeah, these will set you back, what, 50, 60, 70 bucks, depending on who you're buying from. But is it worth it? I think it's worth it. You know, for the price of 2 RLCs, why not? It's at least twice as good, in my opinion. Look at the details on this car, absolutely sickening. And of course, you've got NO64. Check out this Liberty Walk F40 in chrome black. I absolutely love the way this black pops. It looks like it's wet, like there's a layer of viscous liquid just floating on top of it. It's a stunning piece. And something like this, again, the price of an RLC, 25, 30 bucks maybe. And look at the detail, look at the interior detail on that car. I don't know if the lighting is the best here right now, but if you can appreciate the detailing that goes into this car. See the red interior, look at the roll cage. Oh, it's a little bar that goes in there. The engine bay detail, the carbon fiber detail on the fin, look at that. Again, there are options for you guys out there. Don't cheat yourselves, explore them, try something different. You'll be surprised at what's out there. Don't knock it until you try it, because the only one that is going to end up missing out is you. Don't let my video convince you one way or the other. Just go out there and try it. Check out these models for yourself. Yeah, Hot Wheels has got the Ferrari license again. Big whoop. There's other manufacturers that have been in possession of that license and have done wonderful things with them. I would bet that no RLC Ferrari that comes out this year or the next can match the level of detail that this NO64 Liberty Walk F40 has. I challenge you to present me a Hot Wheels casting in the future that rivals this. And of course, if you want to go up to the next level, you can try resin. Here's NO64's rendition. Again, Liberty Walk. This is a Skyline R34. Now, this isn't a die-cast car. This is a resin car. But if you're into 1/64 scale collectibles, you should have at least one of these in your collection. Just because the level of detail that you can achieve with resin is, you know, again, we're not comparing apples to apples anymore, but look at the detail on that car. Let's give it that close-up and look at the presentation, really. It's a beautiful car. Will this car roll? No, but why would you want to roll a car that costs you $60, $70, $80? Just like you don't bring out your RLCs out of their blister pack ever, right? You get where I'm going with this, your little convention cars that you get from Hot Wheels. You don't bring them out of their case to roll them around. Same concept here, but to each their own. I've made my case. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. I'll be doing weekly videos, weekly DieCast podcasts, where we can talk about different subjects. If you have suggestions, anything that you want me to talk about in particular, please leave it down there in the comments section. I welcome all opinions, and we can agree to disagree, and I respect your take. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care, enjoy collecting.